Boys, I'm going to be back testing my $1 million strategy. I'm just going to be back testing a week, show you how to back test, the easiest way to start with the easiest model, show you how quick it is to get data. I will literally run through a week of back testing right now in front of you. This strategy, because it's a data back strategy, you want to be getting data on it. I've got data on it. A lot of the boys I trade with have data on it. This is the easiest way to get data and confidence in the strategy. First thing you're going to need, let me put myself down here again. First thing you're going to need is a journal to obviously know what you're tracking. When we're getting data, you need to have the data written down somewhere. You need to track the data somewhere. So the easiest way to do that is on a journal for free. I'm telling you how to backtest for free. I forgot to say that, but yeah. But FX Replay you can use for free. This Google Docs is free, and then the Forex News Calendar is obviously free as well. So this is literally just a simple like Excel spreadsheet: day, date, session, pair, position, like direction, that is, win or loss, are comments on it if there's like a news hold or weekend news close or weekend close, whatever, and then total R counter. This is it. Now if I go into here, you'll see this is how my live data is. So yeah, this is the quickest way to get data on the easiest model as well. You'll see how fucking simple this is. So I'll get straight into it. The first thing you want to check is news for the week. This week there was actually no banned news for me, so that was it. That's the one check I had to do. But then we'll come in straight on Monday and show you the simplest model in the fucking game. So first thing I do is I mark out my session times. For me, my session times are midnight to 8 a.m. for Asian session. I use Asian session to trade off the liquidity point. So Asian session high or low to trade off of in London session. And then for me, London session is 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then 1 p.m. onwards is New York. So both sessions I'm looking for trades. There's never days I'm not looking for trades. Because of how mechanical it is and the way that we find a bias, we always have a bias. So we're always looking for trades. So if I come on to... So the way I find my bias is I come onto the 4-hour chart and I mark out the most recent 4-hour breaker structure to a significant high or low. How do you find the significant high or low? You download the fractals indicator by Rachel T, which installs these fractals above and below significant highs and lows, which is the little triangles. And as you can see, the most recent break to one. And as you can see, the most recent breaker structure to a high or low with a fractal was to this high to the upside. Therefore, we're bullish. And that is it. I'm bullish. So that means I'll be marking out previous session lows. It means I'm looking for buys, so I'm looking for a previous session low sweep. So all I'm looking for from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. is it to come and sweep the low from midnight to 8 a.m. You'll see that we actually get to 1 p.m. with no sweeps. That's it. London session, no sweeps. And now we'll be marking out Asian session. Now we'll be marking out London session liquidity. It's still bullish. Check if the bias has changed. Still bullish. So then we come back to the 5-minute, mark out the lowest point between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m., which is actually the 8 a.m. candle, and then wait for that to get swept. So we swept there, and we've had our first candle in line with the bias. When we have our first candle in line with the bias, we then drag our fib from previous plus current session range, obviously in the direction of it'd be high to low in a bullish example and low to high in a bearish. So then we're just waiting for price to come back into this area here. It literally gets tapped into straight away. So now we're just waiting for a breaker structure to the upside to a fractal. So if I keep playing price out now, we actually get our breaker structure just here when price, same as what we do for the bias, a break above a high with a fractal on. So that's that break here. So then at this point we'll be dragging our fib from the low of the sweep to the high made after the breaker structure. And we'd have our entry on the 618, stop loss at the 1.025, targeting a fixed free risk to reward. And if I play price out now, we get tapped in just there. Chopping about a bit. Like we say, there's no news, so you're only closing for news, or you only close early for news or weekend close, and this is a Monday, so you'll be waiting for stop loss or take profit. And then there we go. We hold there, set and forget, and then we would have hit 3R in the middle of the night. So that's a 3R win on Monday, the 20th of July. So that's how we'd input it on here. So we'll come on here. I don't know if I can zoom in. Oh, wait. There we go. So Monday, 20th of July. Dropping out. Monday, 20th of July. Session was New York session. XAU. It was a long. We won. It was 3R. So total was 3R. So that is it right now. So that is day one done. And then again, we've checked news. We know there's no news for the week. So then we're coming back on, and then we'll just be playing it out. As simple as that. Like you see just there, that is the simplest model in the game. You find the bias on the 4-hour from a breaker structure, then you wait for a sweep, a fake, a break, and then you set and forget. Literally can't get much easier than this. So then we'd be coming to 8 a.m. the next day, and then we'll be doing the same thing as we did that day. So then we'd be marking out from midnight to 8 a.m, which would be from here to here, and then we'll be going on the 4-hour, looking for the most recent 4-hour breaker structure, which is to the upside. So we are bullish. We've actually reconfirmed bullish, which means when we're bullish, we're buying, which means we're looking for a previous session low sweep. Because we're in London, we're looking for an Asian session low sweep. So that is right there, and then I'll play price out again. And then no trade again in London. So then I'd be marking out the lowest point between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m, which is now a tighter range. So this is the low right here, marking that out, and then just waiting for a sweep of that. So we get the sweep there, we get the first candle in line with our bias, which means we'll be dragging the fib from previous plus current session range. Gives us this zone, and then we'll be waiting for that to get tapped right there. So now we're just waiting for a breaker structure to the upside to a fractal. So if I keep playing price out now, we get our breaker structure just here. So that's how you see it's a simple step-by-step strategy. Like, this is honestly the best forex strategy out there for all the boys who are like doing futures right now and want to diverse into CFD or whatever. Could like do it with a strategy like this, which doesn't take any brain input, doesn't take any thought. Like, oh, do I need to enter here? Do I need to enter here? It's sweep, fake, break, drag the fib on the range from the sweep to the break, and then boom, you've set your limits, and then that is it. Doesn't get much easier than this. That actually doesn't. Waiting for it to retrace a little bit, and then would get in. I'm assuming by the looks of it, there would have been a no fill. So we would have been dragging our fib to this high here, and then it wouldn't have came and tapped in. So we'd be dragging it to this high here. Our latest trade time is 18:45, so 6:45, no fill. So no trade for Tuesday, and then we'll just be waiting for the next morning. Like with this is a strategy where you can literally come onto the chart like after session starts. Like you can come onto the chart at like 20 past 8 because the setup can't form in the first 20 minutes. And then like the first thing you do when you come on is right midnight. You can literally speed run it. Like this strategy, getting data on it is so simple. So it's very easy to like quickly get your confidence with it. And then the boom, 4-hour, still bullish. Previous session lows we're marking out. Lowest point from midnight to 8 a.m. Asian session low. Boom. And wait for that to get swept. Or 1 p.m. to happen, so new session. So no trade. Now there's been a tight range through London. So now we'll be waiting for the lowest point from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. to be swept because we're still bullish. So we're looking for a sweep of the lows to then frame our trades from. So we've got a sweep there. First candle in line with the bias. Then we'll drag our fib from previous plus current session range. You see here how we swept the highs first, but because we were bullish, we'd be dragging it from here. That's why it's not a set thing of like previous session to current session, like previous session high to current session low. It's previous plus current session range because a situation like this could happen. So now you'd be waiting for it to come down and fake out. But what it has done instead is it came and broke above this 15-minute high here. So 15-minute high with the fractal above here. When there's been a 15-minute breaker structure, you can take that over there being a 5 minute because the 15-minute ultimately holds a bit more weight. And then as you can see, it's probably not going to come and fill, but never say never. Let me drag it. We've got an hour till fill, and then no fill. So no trade for Wednesday either. And then what do? You wait for the next morning, 8 a.m. 8 a.m, what do? You come on, and then you mark out midnight, price, midnight, 8 a.m, check the 4-hour, what bias are we? We're still bullish, So then we're looking for buys, which means we're looking for a previous session low sweep. So then you're marking out the lowest point from midnight to 8 a.m. like so. And then you're just waiting for a sweep of this low, like we get there. First candle in line with the bias here, initiated the fake out zone. The fake out zone is when we drag the fib from previous plus current session range. You wait for that to get tapped into, like we do there, and then we just wait for a breaker structure to the upside to a fractal. So if I keep playing price out now, there we go. We just broke structure there, fractal formed here, broke structure here, fib on the move, entry on the 618, stop loss at a 1.025, target a fixed free risk to reward, and then we play price out, tapped in there, stop loss there. So that is a loss on Thursday morning, Thursday 23rd of July. 23rd. That was a London session. XAU. Long loss. -1. Now we're on 2. So boom, 2 trades now in the week. 1 win, 1 loss. We're up 2R. That's the power of a fixed free risk to reward. And as you can see, like the win was identical to the loss in the sense of what was done before. The confluences are all mechanical. About to be New York session right there. Check here again in case it's broke to the downside. It hasn't. We're still bullish. So then we're looking for the lowest point between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m, which would give us this low just here. Then we're just waiting for that to get swept. So it gets swept just there. We have the first candle in line with our bias. Fake out zone there to there. As you can see, price is already below it now. So then we faked out. Now we're just waiting for a breaker structure to the upside to a fractal. And I don't believe we got a breaker structure. So no trade Thursday New York session. So now on to the last day of the week. You see how quick that is? How quick it is to trade, how easy it is to trade, like especially live trading. Like it's so low maintenance. You just set alerts. You can get on the chart in the session, set an alert at your point, and then all you're waiting for is your next thing. You can set another alert. You see here, now we've broke structure to the downside. We're now bearish. So then on Friday, we're looking for sells, and then we're looking for a previous session high sweep, which it was in this case because we're in London, the highest point from midnight to 8 a.m, which would give us this zone here. We're just waiting for a sweep of that high. Sweep, first candle in line with the bias, and so now we're dragging the fib from previous session low to high. Previous plus current session range, but obviously in this case it is that case. Then we're waiting for a fake out just there. Then we're just waiting for a breaker structure to the downside to a fractal. So we get that right here. Breaker structure just there. Fib on the move, so the high of the sweep to the low made after the break. Fixed entry. 618, 1.025. Target in the 3R. Fixed 3R as always, and then boom, straight to stop loss. Friday 24th, London session. We'll just drag this bitch down. Short, another loss, -1. So now we're just up 1R for the week so far. And then, but we do still have New York session to go. So New York session, we'll see what we are. Again, quickly check what the 4 hours saying. It could have broke again. It has not. We're still bearish, so we're looking at the highest point from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. to frame our New York trade from. So if I play price out now, waiting for a sweep. Sweep there, first candle in line with the bias, which means we can drag our fib from previous plus current session range, which would be from there to there. Then we're just waiting for a fake out. So it's faked out there, and then we're just waiting for a breaker structure to the downside to a fractal. So we actually get our break just here. When prices came and closed below this low, that's our breaker structure there. So then we can start bracketing our fib from the move. You want it to retrace a little bit first. There we go. Drag it there. I think we are about to hit a latest trade time, and there we go, latest trade time. So that is a week of back testing just like that. And how long? I wouldn't even know how to check, but probably like 10 minutes. So you think if you can do a month in, you can do a month in less really, because like you can smash through it, lock in, music on, get your data. So ultimately, data and belief in your systems, it's what's going to make you be able to enter even when you've on a losing streak. You might be on a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 losing streak, like, and then if you haven't got your data, what's going to stop you from just not taking the next streak because you've lost belief? Like, that will happen. It happened to me when I didn't have data on my model. Now I've got a model where I can get data as quick as that. I've got data, lots of data on the model. I know that them loss streaks are normal. So I know, like you see there, 2 losses, but 1 win and we're up. Like 3 losses and 1 win and we're break even. So you think a 6 loss streak can be like amended by 2 wins in a row? It's as simple as that. But getting data on your model is what's going to give you belief on it. This is the easiest way to get data on the easiest model in the game. FX replay is free. Use the free thing. It gives you like a month at a time, like a month of data, so you could like backtest January and then just restart the session, backtest Feb, so on and so forth. This is free. Google Docs. Do what's like valid for your strategy. If you drop me a comment or something, I could just send you across this, but like you can just visually copy it if you want. And then Forex Factory, you wanna, when you first come onto Forex Factory, it's gonna look like this. You want to click the calendar at the top, filter it to whatever pairs you're trading, whatever currencies. For me, this is like just filtered to EU, but obviously like USD, it's gold. But yeah, that's the easiest way to backtest my $1 million strategy, boys.